Welcome to Lesson 5 in the Mayron Older Beginner Level 1 book. This is going to encompass pages 35 to 40. And we're going to start off by introducing G. So in Lesson 4, we introduced F. Now we're going to be introducing G. So on here, G is going to live on line 2 of the treble staff. So that's the one that we're going to be taking a look at today. And then we'll talk about a sharp piece song in a video where the link for that's going to be in the description, but we'll go over that song in the video there. But that's where G lives, and here's where it sounds like. So that's where G is on the keyboard and what it sounds like. So a sharp piece, like I just said, we'll go over it in another video. We'll play it with just the right hand part, and then we'll play it another time using the left hand part as well. Next, we'll do the same thing for running in circles and 14 birds. These songs will have their own separate videos. Again, we record the songs from the regular lesson 1 book. So running in circles, we'll have a video for that. 14 birds, we'll have a video for that. Next up in lesson 5, we're going to be talking about the Campfire Song. So again, this book was written 40 years ago. So we don't call this one Indian Campfires. We just call it the Campfire Song. And then little church bells and ring those bells. So this page kind of encompasses everything that we're going to use for this one. So we're going to start off with talking about what's called the DC Alphine. So if you want to go ahead and pause the video real quick, you can read this on your own. But I'm going to go ahead and read this little paragraph out for you as well. So the DC Alphine is an Italian phrase that means to go back to the beginning and play to the fine. So we pronounce it fee, like you're paying a fee, and then ne, kind of like a horse. So fine. The fine means the end in Italian. In Ring Those Bells on page 40, you will play through measures 1 through 12 and then go back to the beginning and play measures 1 through 4 and then stop. So when we get to that song here in the lesson, I'll talk about that, and then I'll also talk about it in the song video as well. So that's what DC Alphine means. It's basically kind of a way to repeat a section in a song without having to print more music, essentially. Next, let's go over these questions right here. And if you want to pause and take a look in your book for these. So what 2 notes will you play at the same time in measure 16 at the end of the Campfire Song? So on page 38 in the Older Beginner book. So in there, if you took a look, we're going to play G and D, or you could write D and G and it'd still be the same thing. Okay. And then on Little Church Bells, what will you play at the same time in measure 16, which is the end? Play E and C, or C and E. Both of those answers would be right. All right, moving on down, we're going to read this sentence here, which has to do with the little measures there on the right. So once a note, has been sharped or flatted, it remains sharped or flatted for the rest of the measure unless a natural sign cancels it out. So there we're going to kind of introduce the natural sign a little bit. Now, if you notice over here in the top measure that we have, it says written as and then played as. So in the top measure where it says written as right there, you see it's only 1 F sharp, but in the bottom measure where it says played as, it's 3 F sharps. So what that means, so this is what we call the rule of flats and sharps. When you have a note that's already sharped, it's going to stay that way until the end of the measure, or until we have a natural sign that cancels it out. So even though it looks like you're going to play it like this, so F sharp, F, F, you're actually going to play just 3 F sharps. So F sharp, F sharp, F sharp right there. So that's going to be coming up later on, not in these 3 songs, but that was just kind of a little review and a little teaser of what's coming up in the next lesson. Then next, we're going to be taking a look. This is a little bit of a review as well. The 3-sided box right here, this is what we call a pedal mark. So this bit right here, actually, I'm going to draw a box. So a 3-sided box is a pedal mark that tells you to push the pedal as far to the right. So that's if you're on an acoustic piano, that's your far right pedal. If you're on like an electric piano, it's just the pedal that you have. If you don't have a pedal, that's totally fine as well. That means when you go down on the left side, that means push the pedal down. The straight horizontal line, that means that you're going to hold the pedal down, and when the line goes back up, that means to let the pedal up as well. So we call that, sometimes it's called the sustain pedal, sometimes it's called the damper pedal. It's basically the same thing. Then right here, we have another part where we're going to fill in the notes and then draw the lines from the notes to the keyboard. So if you want to go ahead and pause the video here and unpause it, we'll go over the answers together. All right, so let's take a look here. First letter, we have C, and then D, and then we have F, and E, and then G, and then F, and then G, and last but not leastly, D right there. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my line tool here, and we're going to connect the notes to where they live on the keyboard here. So just like that. Again, if you want to take another pause here in the video, double check your answers, make sure they're the same as mine, and then we're going to move on. All right, let's go ahead and scoot on over to the next few pages here. If I can get my page to zoom out, there we go. All right. There we go. We'll just do that. Okay. Next page here again, the Campfire Song will have its own video. I want to give you a hint here though, and I'll say this in the video as well. You have a note missing. There is a note that you learned long time ago, and it's here as well. But you are not going to use a note in this song. See if you can figure it out. Okay, at the bottom here of the Campfire Song, excuse me, we have another Do You Know section. So let's go ahead and let's fill this out. Pause the video here, try to answer these the best you can, and then we'll go over them together. All right, so on here, this symbol right here is a tie holder fermata. It's actually a fermata, and I'm going to kind of abbreviate here for time. We're going to call it the firm. And it means to hold down the key a little bit longer. Okay. This symbol right here is the G or F clef. It is the G clef because it was originally a big letter G. Kind of look for context clues in there because your answers are in the book here. This symbol right here, since we call that the G clef, we're going to call that the F clef. On here, once a note has been sharped or flatted, it remains that way for the rest of the measure until a natural sign cancels it out. Yes or no? Yes, because we just went over that. Okay, so that's my yes. Okay, and then a tie hold or time signature means to strike the key and keep holding it for the combined number of counts. Tie hold. So we just went over that in lesson 4. Oh, lost my pen. There we are. So TH, the tie hold. There we go. All right. So there's your answers. If you want to pause the video here real quick before I erase them, and then we'll go ahead and move on. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's keep trucking along here. After the Campfire Song, we'll have little church bells. If you notice here, we have that pedal mark. So it measures 1 to 4 and then 9 to 12. Again, this song is going to use C, D, E, F, and G. And then I'll ring those bells. Here's where we have our DC Alphine. So let's explain this here real fast. On this song, what you're going to do, and I explained it in that page over there a few seconds ago, you're going to play all the way straight through measures 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then down here, you can see the DC Alphine, which is right there. Then you go back to the beginning. So DC means da capo, or the head. So da capo, go back to the beginning of the song and then play to the fine. So realistically, it'd be like if we were to copy paste these measures all the way down to the bottom and play those again. So again, play through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then go back and play 1, 2, 3, 4 one more time. So I'll explain that again when we have the video on the song. So that concludes the video here for lesson 5 of the Mayron Older Beginner Level 1.